Well, good news for you who are reading with me the most marvelous book in the world, maybe Les Misérables of Victor Hugo. I think there was again like 23 people reading. So we are reading. We're still reading. I thought we would have to stop, but we are still reading. So wonderful. And remember, so now we are in this part, which is called Cosette. She's the daughter of Fantine, who died. And she's working for those two horrible people that we read last week. And so the text here says, tels étaient ces deux êtres. So were those two beings. So the man and the woman Thénardier. Cosette était entre eux. Cosette was between them, subissant leur double pression. So she was like undergoing their double pressure, comme une créature qui serait à la fois broyée par une meule et déchiquetée par une tenaille. So she was like a creature who would be at the same time, but broyée is really like crushed by une meule. That's, the big stone, to a grindstone. That's what you call it. So crushed by a grindstone, and déchiqueté is like torn to pieces by a pair of pliers. That's une tenaille. Yeah, so like shredded by a pair of pliers. My God, poor girl. L'homme et la femme avaient chacun une manière différente. So the man and the woman had each a different way of treating her. Cosette était rouée de coups. So Cosette was like beaten by blows, but beaten by blows, I think would maybe rather say like badly or severely beaten. Cela venait de la femme. That came from the woman. Elle allait pieds nus l'hiver. She was on bare feet or naked feet, but we say bare feet in winter. Cela venait du mari. That came from the husband. Cosette montait. Cosette, she went up. Descendait, came down. Lavait, washed. Brossait, brushed. Frottait, scrubbed. Balayait, swept. Courait, ran, she ran. Trimait, she cut. Haletait means like when you don't, when you cannot breathe very well, let's say maybe panting. Remuait des choses lourdes. So she was moving lourdes, heavy things. Et toute chétive faisait les grosses besognes. And she was but chétive is like very frail, very small. She did the big, let's say, chores, the big things. Nulle pitié, not any pity, no pity. Une maîtresse farouche, a wild mistress, oh yeah, like her boss, a wild mistress. Un maître venimeux, a venomous master. La gargote Thénardier était comme une toile où Cosette était prise et tremblait. So the gargote is like a tavern or the inn of the Thénardier was like a web where Cosette was taken and trembled. Maybe that's a bit the image of, the web of like a spider web. She was taken in the web and she trembled. L'idéal de l'oppression était réalisé par cette domesticité sinistre. So the ideal of the oppression was realized, was made by this sinister household. They were really sinister, those people. C'était quelque chose comme la mouche servante des araignées. But there you have it. It was quelque chose, something like the fly serving the araignée, the spiders. La pauvre enfant passive se taisait. So the poor child, who was passive, who was not very reactive, she was silent. Se taire means not to talk. So she stayed silent. Quand elle se trouvait ainsi dès l'aube, toute petite, toute nue, parmi les hommes, que se passe-t-il dans ces âmes qui viennent de quitter Dieu? So now the writer is wondering about Sésame, the souls of those children. So he says, when they find themselves like that, from dawn on, so l'aube, it's early morning, dawn, very small, very naked, like babies, parmi les hommes, amongst men, what is going on in those souls who have just left God? Yes, you know this construction venir de. Venir de means they have just, coming from doing something, but that's not how you say it in English, okay? Okay, so he's wondering, the writer is wondering, what is going on in their souls? Il était arrivé 4 nouveaux voyageurs. So there had arrived 4 new travelers. Cosette songeait tristement. Cosette was thinking sadly. She was sad, she was oppressed. Car, quoiqu'elle n'eût que 8 ans, elle avait déjà tant souffert qu'elle rêvait avec l'air lugubre d'une vieille femme. So, because even though she, in French is had, in English was only 8 years old, but in French you would say she had only 8 years old, she had already so much suffered that she dreamt with a sinister look. Yeah, she had a sinister look of an old lady. Not any hope anymore, really sad. Elle avait la paupière noire d'un coup de poing que la Thénardier lui avait donné. So she had a black eyelid, paupière, it's your eyelid, of a blow of the fist that, yes, the woman Thénardier had given lui to her. Ce qui faisait dire de temps en temps à la Thénardier, so what made the woman Thénardier say from time to time, est-elle laide avec son pochon sur l'œil? Oh my God. Isn't she ugly with her pouch on her eye? Well, that's because they hit her. Terrible. Cosette pensait donc qu'il était nuit, très nuit. So Cosette thought that it was night, so very dark night. Qu'il avait fallu remplir à l'improviste les pots et les carafes dans les chambres des voyageurs survenus. So that it avait fallu, it had been necessary to fill, à l'improviste means unexpectedly, the pots and the jars, maybe jugs, in the rooms of the travelers that had come. Et qu'il n'y avait plus d'eau dans la fontaine, and that there was not any water anymore in the fountain. She was thinking of that, and she thought, oh my God, there's even no water anymore in the fountain. Ce qui la rassurait un peu, c'est qu'on ne buvait pas beaucoup d'eau dans la maison Thénardier. So what reassured her a bit is that they, you remember, on can be translated by many things. Here I'm going to use they, did not drink a lot of water in the house Thénardier. il ne manquait pas là de gens qui avaient soif. So, il ne manquait pas. There was no lack of people who had thirst, who were thirsty. No, 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 that's not the thing. It's not that there were very little people who were thirsty, mais c'était de cette soif qui s'adresse plus volontiers au broc qu'à. So, but it was of this thirst, they were thirsty, so this kind of thirst, which s'adresse à, maybe applies more, or plus volontiers means rather, to the, maybe the jug. A broc it's a jug. Normally, I think broc, it's where you put the wine in. So it's a jug with wine. Then, so they'd rather take a jug of wine. Then, and we're going to the next page. Let's see. Que la cruche. La cruche, it's a jar or a jug, but that's for water. So they'd rather drink wine than water. It reassured a little bit Cosette because there was no water in the fountain. Qui eût demandé un verre d'eau parmi ces verres de vin eût semblé un sauvage à tous ces hommes. So the one who would have asked a glass of water amongst those glasses of wine would have seemed a wild one, a wild person to all those men. So that was not very popular to drink water. They thought that would be really strange. Il y eut pourtant un moment où l'enfant tremblait. But there had been, anyhow, a moment where, in French, not a moment when, but in French, a moment where the child trembled. La Thénardier souleva le couvercle d'une casserole qui bouillait sur le fourneau. So the woman Thénardier, she lifted the cover of a pot which was boiling on the furnace, puis saisit un verre. Then she ceased, she took a glass, et s'approcha vivement de la fontaine, and approached quickly the fountain. She came to the fountain. Elle tourna le robinet. She turned the tap. L'enfant avait levé la tête et suivait tous ses mouvements. So the child, Cosette, had lifted her head and followed all her movements. Yes, because she thinks there's no water coming out. Un maigre filet d'eau coula du robinet et remplit le verre à moitié. So a meager or a small trickle of water coula, like came out streaming or was like coming out from the tap and filled the glass half. À moitié means half. Tiens, dit-elle, il n'y a plus d'eau. Well, she said, there is no water anymore. Puis elle eut un moment de silence. Then she had a moment of silence. L'enfant ne respirait pas. So the child did not breathe. She was so scared, because no water in the fountain, probably it's going to be her fault. Bah, reprit la Thénardier, en examinant le verre à demi plein. Il y en aura assez comme cela. Well, resumed the woman Thénardier, while examining the glass à demi-plein, half full, il y en aura, there will be enough like that. I think she needs some water for her cooking. Cosette se remit à son travail. So Cosette, she went back, she took back on her job. Mais pendant plus d'un quart d'heure, elle sentit son cœur sauter comme un gros flocon dans sa poitrine. But during more than a quarter of an hour, she felt her heart jumping like a big flake. I think it's a bit funny. maybe in English you don't say that, jump like a big flake in her chest. But so her heart is really thudding and she's really scared. Elle comptait les minutes qui s'écoulaient ainsi. She counted the minutes that s'écoulaient, that passed by like that. Et eut bien voulu être au lendemain matin. And she would have liked to be au lendemain matin, the morning of the next day. She wanted to be already the next day because she was really scared. De temps en temps, un des buveurs regardait dans la rue et s'exclamait. So from time to time, one of the drinkers looked in the street and screamed out, Il fait noir comme dans un four. It's dark like in an oven. Or, il faut être chat pour aller dans la rue sans lanterne à cette heure-ci. You have to be a cat to go in the street without a light, lanterne, it's a light, at this hour, at this time. Et Cosette tressaillait. So in Cosette, she was still trembling. Tout à coup, un des marchands colporteurs logés dans l'auberge entra et dit d'une voix dure, so all at once, one of the merchants, colporteur means door to door, going from door to door. So one of the door-to-door merchants passing the night, lodged, sleeping in the inn or the tavern, he entered and he said with a harsh voice, On n'a pas donné à boire à mon cheval. They have not given to drink to my horse. Si, fait vraiment, dit la Thénardier. Yes, it's done, really, said the woman Thénardier. Je vous dis que non, la mère, reprit le marchand. I'm telling you no, mother. Yes, very often they called the innkeeper, the woman, mother. Resumed the merchant. Cosette était sortie de dessous la table. So Cosette had come out from underneath the table. Ah, si, monsieur, dit-elle, le cheval a bu. Oh, yes, sir, she said, the horse has drunk. Il a bu dans le seau, plein le seau. So he, the horse, has drunk in the bucket, plein le seau, a full bucket. Et même que c'est moi qui lui ai porté à boire. And even it is me, myself, who have brought him to drink. Et je lui ai parlé, and I talked to him. Cela n'était pas vrai. That was not true. Cosette mentait. Cosette was lying. En voilà une qui est grosse comme le poing et qui ment gros comme la maison, s'écria le marchand. Ah, there you have one who is big like a fist, so not very big, she's only big like a fist, and who lies big like a house, screamed out the merchant. So she's not very big, but she's lying like a house. Maybe a bit of a funny comparison, lying like a house. Je te dis qu'il n'a pas bu, petite drôlesse. I tell you that he has not drank. Small funny girl. Il a une manière de souffler quand il n'a pas bu que je connais bien. So he has a manner or a way of breathing when he has not drunk that I know well, says the owner of the horse. Cosette persista. So Cosette, she persisted, she said, no, he drank. Et ajouta d'une voix enrouée par l'angoisse et qu'on entendait à peine, So, and she added with a voice, enroué, maybe husky or croaky voice, because of the fear, and that one heard, merely, à peine means you could hardly not hear her voice, and she said, and we do not know what she says because that's for next week. Thank you, guys. You were there. I really hope we continue, but so we have to be minimum 10 people reading, and we go on. I hope to see you next week. Bye bye.